It's Tomatopalooza Day at the Capital City Farmers Market, where Necky chef instructor Tom Bivins demonstrates how to blanch, peel, and seed tomatoes. Then Peggy Thompson of Peg's Pantry makes salsa and demonstrates canning using equipment and supplies from Ball Corporation. Now for the most important question, do you say tomato or tomato?
Tomato? Tomato? I guess.
Oh, I say tomato. Though I could say tomato, but I do say tomato.
Tomato, because I'm from the Midwest, and that's what it is.
Tomato.
Tomato.
Question of vital national importance. Do you say tomato or tomato?
Tomato.
Oh, tomato, definitely. Yes.
Tomato. And potato.
That's the cold water bath. So we're going to blanch and shock tomatoes, and what I like to do is actually core them. So take the stem side out, sort of hollow it out like that, and then I make a little X in the bottom, and what that does is it actually provides areas for the hot boiling water to actually go into the underneath the skin, which is really what you want. And then the ice bath is really here to stop the cooking process. So all we're going to do is drop it in, and it's usually about 45 seconds to a minute, 2 minutes max. Doesn't take very long at all, unless you're doing 50 pounds of tomatoes, and then it takes a really long time. So we drop those in. I already did one, so what happens is it comes out, and you just peel it right back. We have a perfectly peeled tomato. Now, so I have more than I need. I've had them for about 20 years, yeah. So now we're just going to seed the tomato, and what we want to do is cut it out. And there are two ways I'd like to do it, and it depends on what I'm using them for. If I'm making something like a salsa and I want a really nice piece of tomato with a strip on it that I can then dice up, like so, then I actually take the knife and I go all the way through and take everything out. And then I can actually use this meaty part for something else. So sometimes when I'm canning, what I'll do is actually save these parts, throw them in a pot, and make a tomato soup or something with that, or tomato sauce. So the riper your tomatoes are, the faster they're going to pucker up so that you can take the skin out. Now, if I'm really going to use this to make tomato sauce or pizza sauce, then I always use my fingers to get as many of the seeds out as I can. So, again, I'll just do that, and then I'll try to keep, all of this part to make my sauce with. So that I'll cook down because it's just going to break down anyway. But this, where I'm going to be making something where the tomato, where you really want that individual bite of tomato in it with the onion or cilantro or whatever, then that's when I usually fillet it like this. And this is called a fillet. So one more time, we'll just cut it. So use my finger to push out that. So that's one way. Or I use my fingers to pull this sort of gelatinous.
So the outer part, which we call the fillet, is that the part that's used in tomato paste?
No, actually for tomato paste you could use all of this. The tomato paste is really like just you're really cooking out all the water, as much of the moisture and water as you possibly can. So you could use all of this and then use a food mill to press through all of the meat, but that'll strain out the seeds, so you're not really getting any of the seeds there. And then again, if you were going to make a tomato paste, you would take that liquid and keep cooking it down until you've gotten as much moisture out as you possibly can. And it'll be a really solid mass of tomato pulp. If you're making a sauce or something, it just depends. If you want to have like a bulky sauce and you like to have a little bit of meaty tomato to it, then you would probably just throw in a piece like this and then chop it up and cook it down so it's got a lot of texture to it. So it really just depends on what it is that you're trying to do. Hi ladies, we have some pickled vegetables here if you want to try them.
Lila, you can try them. There's pickled vegetables.
Yeah, please help yourself. So we're pickling and canning today, and that's what this is, pickled vegetables. And then we're doing a little tomato demo as well. So these have been in, I think, quite long enough.
Now the purpose of the hot water is what?
The purpose of the hot water is to, in blanching, in classical terms, the blanching actually stops the decaying of the vegetable. So like if you blanch and shock green beans, they'll actually last longer than they probably would if you didn't shock and blanch them. And if you're cooking them, you can stop them at their peak flavor and their peak color, and then finish cooking them when you're ready to. For canning purposes, you need to stop the decaying process so that you can then can them and hold them for an extended period of time. So that's really what the hot water is for. And this is hot salted water, and the salt is really there to add some flavor. Thank you. So just you could also. I have friends who have steamers and they throw their tomatoes into a steamer. So once you've cooled it down, you just want to use your knife to get in and pull the skin right off. So there's a big difference. The globe tomatoes, these tomatoes, the round ones that we had, that are smaller and squatter, actually usually have a higher moisture content in them, whereas the plum tomatoes really have much less water content and usually less seeds as well. They're really built for sauce making. And the globe ones are really, I think, are usually best for things like eating fresh tomatoes, cutting up a tomato and eating it fresh. So it just depends on your taste. But if I'm making a sauce at home, I'm definitely just using the plum or Roma tomatoes for that.
What do you like about the market?
Oh, everything. It's a nice scene. It's a nice energy here. Yummy food. There's a sense. There's just a very vital, excited place. Everyone, I think, is like so happy that it's here and to be eating local fresh food and be connecting with each other and with the earth and with the farmers. And the kids have fun too.
I love the market so much. I love the people, the interactions, the vibrancy, the products. It's wonderful.
I think the finest thing about the farmers market here in Montpelier is it brings people together from surrounding towns and the city, and they meet and they discuss food and their families. And it's a great gathering. Should not be missed.
Favorite part of the market, I think, is just meeting with everybody in the morning. We get to see all of our neighbors. We live just 6 miles up the road. So we get to see all of our neighbors every Saturday morning. People stop and chat, and just kind of keep up with what's going on with the neighborhood and the area.
I think my favorite part about the farmers market is the people, and yeah, the incredible diversity of people who come wandering through here. It's just incredible. It's almost like if you sat here long enough, just about everybody you ever knew or would know would eventually walk by here.
I really enjoy just meeting all the people that come by to see us every week. We have people that stop in every week, and it's nice to chat with all the people that stop in and purchase cheese, and also get feedback on people from our cheese. But overall, this market is just a fun place to be every Saturday morning for us, so we really enjoy it.
With all of the gardens that are popping up across the state, people at the end of the season find that they are not sure what to do with all of their produce that they have left over from the garden. So they then search out to find ways to get it to use. Canning is a lost art form that is coming back, and people are really interested in the different ways of doing it. There's a hot water bath as well as a pressure canner. Most of the products can be done with a hot water bath. It's only the low acid foods that you need to use for the pressure canner. Did you have some questions?
Just come and check it out.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like, okay, so do you see the tomatoes?
No, I don't deseed them. You may if you'd like, if you prefer to not have them in there, but it most certainly can. And the recipe we're using is off of the Ball Fiesta mix. And they don't have you deseed them. It's natural for them. It's not a problem for them to be in there. And you can open it and smell that as well. It's an absolutely wonderful salsa flavor. Your spices are all in there. It's not super potent, strong, hot.
This can be bought at any grocery store?
Most of the grocery stores, hardware stores that carry canning products, Agway and so forth, they carry the Ball. It takes a quarter of a cup of the seasoning mix to make a batch. And then it also takes 3 tablespoons of vinegar. And then we'll just pop that on the stove and start it cooking. Okay, here's the salsa. Then we're going to take our funnel in the hot jar. And typically this funnel, because I'm very familiar with it, the head space is really close here. All right? And you can use this end of your tool to go down through here and make sure any air bubbles are out. Salsa's not too difficult, but when you're doing like these tomatoes, you tend to have a lot of air space when you first put them in, and you really want to compact it down so that there's not any air space in there, because it just creates an empty jar. You would wipe the edge of your jar with a paper towel, napkin, something of the sort. Put your lid on. The lid is not reusable. Please don't ever reuse it. They're $2 for a box of 12. Your product is worth a new lid every time. Because when you lift this off, you're going to pry on it, and that will cause some type of indentation or something in it. So please don't ever. The jar and the ring you can use for many, many years. Okay? Put it into. You don't need to crank this down super duper tight. This is what's doing the work. The ring simply holds the lid in place because you're going to have air expand out and then you're going to have it contract back down. So this doesn't have to be screwed on super tight. And then you just take it, you pop it into your hot boiling water.
So,
you're going to put different jars in at different times.
I wouldn't typically. I would fill all of these jars, put the covers on, put them into the boiling water, and have that one batch do the timing for that amount of time. Just for demonstration purposes out here, it's a little bit slower.
My winter wish.
My favorite part of Montpelier Farmers Market, it's hard to say. I love all of the colors of the flowers and the vegetables and the colorful people. I work from home and I live out of town and I can get a little isolated, so it's nice to just get one large love and dose full of this great community.
Getting my fresh vegetables and produce, as well as some bread and eggs. And it's just a great community experience to come down here and meet people you know and catch up.
My favorite part is just meeting everybody. I don't get to travel around much because I'm the only person here. I don't have any help, so my favorite part is definitely meeting everybody.
And our favorite part of the market is the sense of community and all of the loyal customers that come every single week. And the wide variety of food and crafts available. It's great for all of us.
Well, I love the smells. I love coming down and seeing so many people gathered here together downtown in Montpelier. I think the other thing I really like is just the sense of community and running into people you know. I brought my son down who graduated years ago from Montpelier High School. We could hardly get through the crowd because everybody was stopping to greet him. So it's really, really a sense of the Montpelier community, and that's what makes it so fun to come here.
This is like the old green in a New England town. You come here, you see your neighbors, you hear the news. This is a wonderful town and a wonderful market.
Could I ask you one more question?
You can.
A great national import. Do you say tomato or tomato?
I say tomato because if I said tomato, I would be laughed out of the hall. We used to live in New York, and we did have friends who said tomato, and I tried not to laugh, and I always behaved myself.
Tomato.
And this is Tomatopalooza weekend. It's tomato.
I say tomato.
Do you know anybody who says tomato?
Not that I can think of.
Tumbrero. That's how I say it. Please pass the tumbrero and eat that for my egg sandwich.
I say tomato.
Why do you say tomato?
I think it's probably cultural. It's how you're raised. It's what my mother always said.
Do you know anybody who says tomato?
Only on stage.